Yo! Video games.
Second Impact and Third Strike were so much fun. Not according to a lot of people.
Second Impact's a fun game.
Yeah.
But in comparison to Third Strike, you realize how much they improve upon Street Fighter 3 with Third Strike.
You know
like
what?
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is so good, it makes new generation feel like shit. Like that's a rough feeling game, dude.
You know what,
It just plays weird.
Double Impact has one thing better than 3, and I'd say the backgrounds.
Yeah. Backgrounds are really
I think there's some good ones, but I agree to disagree.
They just seem so dead in Third Strike. Like, there's nobody in most of them. Like, it's just empty.
True.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of life in Second Impact.
And they had, like, crazy shit.
I agree. Here's my official issue with Third Strike. And I've said this before, I'm not a super fan of Third Strike. I'll play it and I'll have fun with it. But my biggest gripe with it was the fact that the people who parried just had way too much power. Now I understand where Max is coming from, where he says that at high level people don't even parry. They because they know you're gonna parry. But when it came to red parrying, those people just understood the game at a fundamental frame rate level to the point of insanity. And my whole thing was that when you come from alpha to Third Strike, it didn't make sense to me that you had something called an alpha counter in alpha, right? And when you did an alpha counter, you got punished. Even though the alpha counter was successful, you took away health, but the punishment was that you lost a level. In Third Strike, you could do as many parries as you want, and you didn't get punished for it. The only punishment was that you failed to do the parry, and you got punched in the face. But if you got a successful parry, there was no punishment. You didn't lose any, you didn't lose any meter, and you didn't lose any, potential health or anything like that.
I got a counter argument for Steve. Have you ever been into the situation?
You do it all the time, and it was just like, well, then it becomes a game that is about parries, and everybody was doing parries at the time because there was no punishment for it. So
I got an example situation that is the quite literal counter to your argument. You ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Have you ever been in a situation with Third Strike where you jump in at somebody and you throw them?
Yeah.
You create this thing called the empty jump throw.
Right.
What creates the empty jump throw? Why does that work?
Because you knew the guy was going to parry.
Exactly.
Right.
So the person that was trying to parry is now left in a situation where if they just blocked, they'd have been fine. Now they're getting punished for parrying.
Okay. So now
that's just one example.
Yeah. Okay. Now my counter argument to that is A, red parries, and B, people that understand low parry. That so when you're doing a simple string just to lock them down, let's say a
nice
low medium kick to Hadouken, they know how to parry that because they understand the frame of when they're supposed to push forward during that combo. I fought guys that won't even let me touch them because I'm just trying to do a quick couple jabs, low jab, trying to size them up or whatever like that, and they're parrying everything. They're not mashing. They understand the meta of when I'm going to throw out a light, medium, or heavy.
They've just played the game a lot.
Exactly. And so the people who play the game that much have so much advantage versus the people who play it casually. And I always felt that that was
that is why Street Fighter 3 Third Strike for many years was known to be the hardest fighting game to be good at.
100%.
It was the fighting game that was so new player friendly that only if you want to actually be good at this, it'll take you years.
Exactly.
That was the stigma that it had.
I was not going to dedicate that kind of time into a fighting game. It's just not going to happen. But with Alpha, I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to dedicate myself to the game in order to get good against some of the better players out there. Because the system allowed the fact that if they did something that was a mechanic like that was in the game, they got punished for it. So I would still be able to compete at a decent level, even though I'd have to dedicate myself to the game like Third Strike, and that's why I was just like, yeah, it's not a game for me. I still enjoyed Third Strike. It's still a good game. I agree that it's probably one of the best Street Fighters of all time. I'm all for it. It just wasn't the game for me at that level.
I'd argue. I just argue you haven't played people good enough at Alpha.
Oh, in Alpha?
Honestly, I just don't think you play people really good at Alpha 2.
In Alpha 2, holy fuck! What was it? The Alpha counter with Ken. Dude, those guys were godlike in the game. And I played monster Rolentos, insane Chung-Li's, dude, you name it, dude. I played the best of the best. Come on, Max. I played the best of the best.
I don't know if you come. Well, you're not even mentioning custom combos.
Super.
You literally, somebody gets 2 bars and they take away 60% of your life with the good characters, and you whiff punish from fucking half screen with it.
Dude,
Like,
I've seen that. Yes, Max. Yes,
what I'm saying is, like, the really good Alpha 2 players are fucking, like, if you watch like the John Choi's or some shit like that, or what Chun-Li is capable of.
And I'm not saying that I would be able to compete with those guys. I'm not saying I would be able to actually. I played those guys. I know exactly what you're talking about. But when it comes to the balance between casual fighters and the really hardcore pro players, I was still able to compete at a decent level, as opposed to Third Strike, where there was just you had no chance. There was no chance. Those guys were too good. They understood exactly what you were going to do before you do it with the parry system, and there was no punishment for it, which means that they could do it all the time, as opposed to them doing it like maybe once or twice in the match, and are like, oh, okay, they can't do any more parries. They're good. They've used it all up.
Yeah, parry fundamentally changes Street Fighter.
Exactly.
It makes you think about the game in ways that you would never think about it before.
Thank you. And
once you start understanding, in the same way that Dragon Ball has Super Dash, right? Once you understand how it works, it's not nearly as bad as you thought it was.
No.
All you have to do is put like a bit of time into it to figure that out.
The time that they were expecting to put that in is just it wasn't my thing. I think
the thing is that some of the games that you're mentioning just require a bit more dedication, and you're not willing to put that in.
And definitely not willing. I was too busy going from game to game to game. I didn't like it. It was one of those games, like a lot of anime fighters, that required you, or that they really wanted you to put in a ton of hours, a ton of time. Just like with anime, just like with modern day anime, they want you to put your life into this one thing to be good at it. And I was just like, nah.
Inferno.
Does he not have Yoga Flame?
Yes, that was definitely a me problem, Ultra, and that is the reason why I say it wasn't for me. That is literally why I say that.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
I don't know how the fuck I'm doing.
Steve blames anime. Yes, I am. Attack on Titan had filler, chat. Go sit down.
Yes, it did. Whoa. Goddamn.
Oh!
Thank you, Tesla. You're correct. Street Fighter V basically made a fireball, or made Shoryukens pretty much useless. If somebody jumped at you, the thing that you were supposed to do when somebody jumped at you was Shoryuken. This game said no. Now you have to really change the whole entire way that you think about actually fighting this guy when he jump at you, instead of trying to do a Shoryuken to stop him from doing that. That was the whole point. They're like, nah. Now the person has advantage.
I think parries are fine because everyone can do them. Like,
yeah,
everyone's equal with them. Like,
yeah, and I didn't like it.
I mean, unless you're Remy, then you're kind of fucked. But
it would be nice to have a counter parry. Like, somebody, I know this guy's gonna parry, so as soon as he parries, I'm gonna counter parry with parrying the parry. So if he parries, I'm gonna push back forward during the parry so that I can counter parry.
Parries, you just account for it.
You just don't do it.
Just get ready to parry it again yourself.
Yeah, right. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But that's where Killer Instinct comes into play too. Killer Instinct, the whole meta is, okay, he does a combo, now I'm gonna do a combo breaker, but I'm gonna do a counter combo breaker. And then things get crazy after that. It's the same mentality.
Well, I mean, I actually find the criticisms of Third Strike absolutely valid. Like, it is hardly a Street Fighter game.
And this is why I said that Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, or just Street Fighter 3 in general, should have been a different franchise. It shouldn't have been.
I don't know. I think it's fine.
Well, I mean, the thing is, for anyone at a low level, it's not. Like, it really comes across as this extremely egregious game, as Steve is literally mentioning.
Yeah.
Only at high level do you really get to the footsies.
Yep.
really get into the footsies of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. It takes a long time to get to that point.
I'm glad Street
I don't know, I
Fighter.
think it's-
I'm glad Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 removed air blocking and
drag
jump.
my life on this thing.
I liked air blocking, but jump parry was rough.
Dude, you can't.
I think jump parry is probably one of my favorite things they've ever added into Street Fighter because they gave you freedom of mobility. With a skill barrier. You had to make the right call. And if you fuck up the timing,
no.
you fuck up the timing, you're screwed. They guessed that you were gonna jump parry, you're screwed. This is why at high level Third Strike, guess what one of the best anti-airs is? Standing jab. Because what happens if they parry on standing jab, you just keep jabbing, and they have to parry all your fucking jabs until you cancel it into a DP or a super or some shit. So there becomes this insane mind game. Third Strike's, to me, my favorite because it makes you think the most of any of the Street Fighters. And that's really over-fucking-whelming when you have that option available all the time. It seems like, goddamn, well, if this can happen, then that can happen, then this can happen, then that can happen, then I can do this, and they can do that, then, but if they don't parry, then I can parry, like, fucking A, like...
Yeah.
My favorite part of Third Strike isn't the combos or anything, or just parries. It's the fact that it's a game that constantly you're making decisions of what is possible.
I can't do it with this D-pad anymore. It's driving me.
What are you using?
Then you have to really start thinking about red parry.
This shitty ass thing.
No. Don't even think about red parry. Red parry's so. You're talking about such a minor, less than 1%, less than 1% of people that can consistently red parry. And nobody, even at the highest level, can consistently red parry. Even at the highest level of the game. Red parrying is so fucking hard that even the best players in the world will be able to red parry anything. They'll be able to red parry like a Shinku, like a double fireball, right? Yeah. You throw an EX fireball, it's 2 hits, you can red parry the second hit. That timing is easy. But like anything, any block string, nah, that's not happening, dude. Like red parrying is so hard.
I didn't see one red parry in Co-op Cup.
Yeah, you don't. Like, it's so fucking hard. It's so risky, too. Like, and guess what? That's because in the highest level of Third Strike, a lot of parrying goes away because it's too fucking risky. Not completely, but the idea is...
I think it's fine that each series or sub-series of Street Fighter has its own unique thing. Like, parries is...
Every game has its own little gimmick thing that they do to change up the play style of the game. Like Mortal Kombat is very guilty of this as well. The Marvel vs. Capcoms are guilty of this. Like every time you change the game, you change the game style in some way, shape, or form. And we always call it the gimmick button, especially in Mortal Kombat. Like, oh, you're using the gimmick button to do something.
The gimmick thing, yeah. Somebody asks, what is the command for a red parry? So here's the thing. A red parry, you have to go from a blocking state to a parry state, which is forward, within about 2 frames. So the problem is that it's not just about going from back to forward in 2 frames. It's also about timing it to the attack, how much hit stun it has, how much time you're going to be stuck in that animation. So the whole point is that every move has a different amount of that hit stun and everything like that. And the idea is that it's mid block stun. That's what I'm getting at. If you're stuck in block stun for every move, then that's different for every move. Every move has different block stun. So the idea is that you have to go from back to forward from a blocking state within 2 frames, and then immediately try to hit that button. The issue is that it's easy on some things because they recover naturally faster and you can just go from back forward and the timing just makes sense. But on every block string in the game or in every situation, no. That's why it's insanely impressive if you see somebody that's about to get fucking killed by super and they red parry halfway through it. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, if they're about to get chipped out, and suddenly, halfway through blocking, they just go, fuck it, and they start red parrying. That shit is so hard. And it's almost like not even, oh, I'm going to do it. It's almost like an instinctual mental thing. I'm just going to try it. And now I've tried it, and it worked. I'm going to keep going, right? And that's usually how, when you red parry in Third Strike, how it works. Sometimes, like, I don't even intend to red parry. I just try it, and oh god, it worked. I'm going to keep going. Take us out of sub mode. Simmons, are you plugging in a new controller?
I did.
Okay. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to. What's it called? Take it out of bullshit mode. What's two?
That's the pound.
I think Steve's argument is super valid though, and I think it's not considered enough when a lot of fighting game discussion is talked about, of how I do not think just the high level discussion of fighting games should be considered. And this is why here's my argument. I think Third Strike is the greatest fighting game of all time, but at the highest level, I don't think it is. I think Third Strike is actually the greatest fighting game of all time at a mid-level, where you're pretty good at the game and you understand how it works, but at the highest level, it kind of fucking falls apart. Third Strike has some huge issues at a really high level, but if you're at this mid-level, it makes sense. And I think understanding there's like 3 real levels of fighting games, like a super beginner, a mid-level, and a high level, that should all be considered, you know, when people are designing fighting games. And my issue with a lot of fighting games is that most devs just go straight to the high level. We're just gonna go straight to like people just utilizing everything in our game, and we're just gonna assume they're just good at doing all this, and you're just gonna have fun and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
I think everything needs to be considered. That like most games, there's going to be a wide variety of people approaching this shit. People that just want to smash buttons and hit shit and have it be fun, to the point where you get something like Dragon Ball, which it really tries to assist insanely hard at the lower level and becomes frustrating even at the highest level. But, you know, to each your own. I think it's good that fighting games have that shit, and I think it's good that Third Strike is a game that has an insanely high skill gap, because it makes the game impressive to watch. Third Strike's probably the most, in my opinion, the most impressive Street Fighter to watch people be good at. And that's why it still pulls in numbers, because fuck, dude, watching people be good at that shit is like, this is insane.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah.
It's so fast paced. How the fuck do people even think this fast, like, type of shit?
And to add to that, I think like TLDR on my part, it's just and somebody in the chat I'd already said it. It's the fact that the game itself takes away the fundamental way that we used to play Street Fighter.
Yes.
Somebody jumps at you.
Fireballs are bad.
Yeah.
Jumping is technically can be made safe.
It's like, completely gone. Yeah.
And you know what?
In my mind, if you're going to use a particular mechanic in the game, like let's say red focus, like the focus attack in Street Fighter 4, or you use you know, the V trigger in you know, Street Fighter 5. Every time you do that, there is a consequence. You use the, you know, the focus attack and you get hit, you lose potential health. You use your V trigger and you lose that meter. My thing is that if you're going to do a parry, there should have been a consequence. Like A, you lose a little bit of your meter, or B, you lose a little bit of potential health, or something like that. It shouldn't have just been where somebody could use it all the time and not get, you know, a sort of punishment for it. They were just allowed to do it. So to me, that fundamentally changed the game completely as far as what I knew Street Fighter was all the way back from original Street Fighter. And from that, I was just like, it doesn't feel like a Street Fighter game to me. I don't really like it.
I didn't click the damn window.
So that's just how I thought.
I mean, and that's actually a completely justified opinion that a lot of people have about Street Fighter 3. How it fundamentally changes Third Strike, and
right,
while there is absolutely risk involved and parrying, it definitely has a window of success.
The risk was there, but let's compare it to, let's say, an alpha counter, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't cost meter. It's inherently built in, and you get to do it whenever you want.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that it didn't, like with an alpha counter, sure, if you got it successfully, you would take away the other person's health and you would get them off of you, right?
I need directionals re-inputted.
Okay.
But with Third Strike, if you successfully got it and then you punish the guy, you would be all reward and no consequence. But with the alpha, your consequence is that you lost a meter. sure, you got the damage off, but you lost a meter. It was kind of weird in
oh wow, you're controlling my character now. Fuck, I fucked up.
which I thought was kind of weird in Street Fighter, or I'm sorry, in CVS 2, where the alpha counters were there, but they were useless. Because why? You got the person off of you, but you did no damage. So it was like there was no reason to actually do it in CVS 2. So people never did alpha counters in CVS 2, which is hilarious. And in also
this one's you, Simmons. Go ahead.
Also in Alpha 3 as well. They had alpha counters, and a big lightning bolt came down, and it was, oh my god.
A hard kick.
No one ever did it. It's because there was no point. So in Alpha 2, I think it was balanced, but again, you had characters like Ken that took off like, you know, a giant chunk off of that shit.
Well, I mean, in literally one version of Alpha 2 later, we can play the version where they balance that.
Can I get hard kick reset?
Yeah, you just want to redo the whole thing?
I mean, you could if you want, but
sure, a get off me tool is really good, and that's what the alpha counter was for, but it wasn't worth losing an entire bar off of it. Like, you only had 3 levels to get you to, you know, your level 3. And the fact that an alpha counter did no damage, but it got the guy off of you, and it took away a bar wasn't worth using that. I'd rather take the pressure and keep my bar. And most people thought the same way. That's why in Alpha 3, people rarely use that. Oh, and don't forget, it also took away from your block meter as well. It took away a bar, and it took away from your block meter. So you were in high risk of actually getting what's it called? Block string to the point where you got opened up when using that. So it wasn't good. They didn't balance that at all.
oh god, stop.
Yeah, actually, Romaine, I actually do like the Zord counter in Power Rangers. I thought it was a pretty decent mechanic. Railroad Dragon Mire, that's actually incorrect. If you try to alpha counter and somebody's trying to bait you into an alpha counter, it does involve risk. If you throw out an alpha counter and somebody knows you're going to try to do it, they will throw out lights. If you try to alpha counter a light, you will end up whiffing that alpha counter. You lose that meter, and you're actually opened up after that. So yes, there is a huge risk for throwing out alpha counters. You better make sure that your opponent is throwing out something heavy before you throw out that alpha counter in order to get it successfully.
I got me on the wake up.
Yeah, guard crush. Yeah, the guard crush in Alpha 3 was hilarious because if you alpha counted once,
bullshit.
your guard crush was damn near down to 0, and you lost a bar, and it was like, damn, that sucks. People always frame counted. Like, frame counting has always been a thing. It's just that it became more prevalent in the later games.
Look at that shit.
Cool.
That
the lightning bolt that comes down is the cool part, or the effect that happens.
Yeah, the little spinny thing.
It's cool.
Alpha counter. Get the little alpha symbol.
At high level, that's a good. Let me see what this is. High level players use frames this early on, or was that only later in PS3 and onward? Frame data, I can tell you personally, frame data wasn't really, and frame counting didn't really become a thing until kind of the Street Fighter 4 era and beyond.
Yep. Street Fighter 4.
However, the understanding of what frame data is still existed. It's just that you thought of it a different way, less in hard numbers and more in just feel.
Yep.
Or in just like, you just figured shit out. Did it mean that fighting games took inherently way longer to get understood and be good at? Oh, hell yes. Yes, that's the whole thing.
Are you seeing that slowdown there, or that weird frame?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I think we have to get into, I'm seeing that little bit of frame drop. I think we have to get to full screen mode. That's why I want to try. Shoryuken. Hey.
Balls. Like what? What? Oh my
Was
god.
it because there was less frames or something? No, it's because
No,
of the
no,
fact
not at
that
all.
You didn't have access to the frame data itself. You just
There was no, yeah, we just didn't know what the frame data was. All you knew it was like recovery, hit stun, block stun. Like, this move works really good. If I jump in and kick them, I can sweep them, and they can't do anything about it, you know?
Yeah, the age of where the actual game tells you the frame data in the training stage was never a thing.
Street Fighter 4 and beyond type of shit.
Exactly. Guess what, chat? In those games, there was no frame data in training stage. Half
Shit
the
like
time,
that.
there was no
I just showed an example of what countering an alpha counter looks like.
Yeah.
Simmons did an alpha counter on one of my moves, and I canceled the move into a DP early. So he alpha countered and I hit him.
But because it was like a multi-hit move, it went through the alpha counter. Or something.
Yeah, basically we understood it in terms of, is it safe or not safe? And that still applies to this day. That's still how I think of frame data for the most part. But yeah, like, a lot of fighting games now, especially 1v1 fighting games, frame data is very important, right? It's important to immediately know what's good or not. This is +3, this is +4, this is +1, this is -10.
Honestly, I mean, people are saying you had to buy books. I don't remember any books actually giving us frame data.
No,
like,
in the 90s, in the early 2000s, hell no.
Yeah,
it was very hard to find frame
I
data.
don't remember that at all.
I had the Street Fighter 2 strategy guide. It didn't have any of that
Yeah,
shit.
the strategy guys, they would tell you combos and the character move list, but they wouldn't tell you frame data. You would never get that.
No. No, you
And again, you want to know why? Is because the people who were making those books didn't have access to the frame data either. So they couldn't give you stuff that they didn't have access to.
What the fuck?
They only gave you what they knew, which
There's
was
like a magnet. It's where some bullshit. Dude, what the? Yeah, you gotta see that too, right?
I see it. I 100% see it. It drops down to like 30 FPS. I think it's a windowed thing. Chat, you're seeing that, right?
I can't believe this suck in like basically takes me out of block.
Yeah, well, that's a huge part. Yeah, if you're not blocking, you are left in an animation state that lets me get a full combo. That's what makes Alpha 2 so scary. Is custom combo.
Yeah.
Because of that. And guess what? You want to know the crazy thing, Simmons? I want you to activate your custom combo. Press medium punch, heavy punch, and medium kick at the same time. Watch Ken. No, back up. Back up. Didn't work. Chat, how the fuck do you get this to work? The custom combo is like a full screen activation. Or is that a certain character? Right? There's a thing where like your character gets bounced from fucking full screen. Is there a certain range to it? Okay. You need to be close enough. All right. But yeah, even within like a certain range like this, I'll go bleh from your fucking activated custom combo. Oh no, that's Evil Ryu. Sorry. Yeah, that's the bug. That's the thing that makes Evil Ryu actually tournament banned. Evil Ryu has a full screen hitbox custom combo activation from anywhere on the stage. If he presses custom combo, you're like, bleh, and you're left in like this hit stun state. It's super fucking weird.
Was that by design?
No, it's a huge glitch. It's why Evil Ryu is banned from most Alpha 2 tournaments. Because it like breaks the game. You can do something that nobody else can.
Because he's Evil Ryu.
How do we know all this stuff? Chat, we've been playing these fucking games for like 30 years!
What is that? I can't believe they know that. How do you
know this stuff? We've literally been playing these games for like 30 years, and chat knows like the precise aspects of it. I haven't even played. I played a lot of Alpha 2, but not nearly as much as some of the chat might be aware of, you know? Or how much the chat is aware of it.
Right, you guys are posers. None of you guys knew about the actual Easter egg of Karen actually taking off.
Hey, I'm over here. I did Dan taunt.
No one knows about the Easter egg. I had to tell the chat, and everyone said it was a glitch. It is not a glitch. It was an Easter egg.
You like that, Simmons? You like that shit? Simmons mad. He's like, I'm mad.
How does he get away with this shit?
You old Steve. No! If you do the code at the beginning, Karen takes like 90% of your health just because.